This is the story of Taffy 3 and the USS Johnston. October 25, 1944, the Battle off Samar in the Philippines. A tiny American radio call sign known as Taffy 3 was patrolling the coast. It was a completely unarmored, lightweight task force made of small escort carriers and a few tiny destroyers. Ships nicknamed tin cans because their armor was so thin that a heavy machine gun could pierce it. As the sun came up, the sailors of Taffy 3 looked at the horizon and saw the silhouettes of the Japanese Center Force. It was the largest, most heavily armed surface fleet in the world, led by the Armada, a battleship so massive it displaced more water than the entire American Taffy 3 fleet combined. The Japanese had 4 battleships, 8 cruisers, and 11 destroyers. Taffy 3 had no heavy guns and nowhere to run. It was an execution. Knowing his tiny fleet of escort carriers was about to be slaughtered, Commander Ernest E of the USS Johnston didn't wait for orders. He broke formation, ordered his crew to make heavy smoke to hide the retreating American ships, and steered his unarmored tin can alone directly into the teeth of the entire Japanese Armada. The Japanese fleet was stunned. They couldn't comprehend why a single tiny ship was charging them on a suicide mission. Evans sailed so terrifyingly close to the Japanese heavy cruisers that their massive guns couldn't angle down far enough to hit him, echoing the exact same tactic used by Thomas Cotton over a century earlier. The Johnston unleashed a swarm of torpedoes, blowing the bow off a massive Japanese cruiser, before opening up with her tiny 5-inch guns. She fired over 200 rounds in a matter of minutes, peppering the Japanese command ships. The Japanese eventually landed devastating hits on the Johnston, destroying her engines, wiping out her radar, and severely wounding Commander Evans, who lost 2 fingers and had his shirt blown off his back. But Evans simply moved to the back of the ship, stood completely exposed, and yelled orders down a hatch to manually steer the vessel, continuing to fire at anything flying a Japanese flag. Seeing the absolute ferocity of the Johnston, the other tiny American destroyers turned around and joined the suicide charge. The Japanese commanders were so rattled by the sheer, aggressive insanity of the American counterattack that they made a critical error. They assumed they had walked into a trap and were actually fighting heavily armored, full-sized American cruisers. Fearing a massive American ambush, the largest naval fleet on Earth turned around and retreated from a handful of unarmored tin cans. History favors the bold. If you're ready to step into the shadows of history's most impossible secrets, subscribe to Dark Vault Mystery. Hit that like button and share it.